Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Startup Global's Industry Advisory Circle on Science and Technology. My name is Amanda Logan, and I am a Programs Officer with Startup Canada. To begin, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the land on which I am today. The land that I'm on today is located on the unceded and traditional territories of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe, also known as Ottawa. As we are a national organization, I would also like to acknowledge with respect the diverse histories and cultures of all Indigenous peoples. I encourage you to take a moment to acknowledge the traditional territory that you are residing on today. Startup Canada is a national nonprofit that is the gateway to Canada's entrepreneurial ecosystem. We're here to connect entrepreneurs with the support, community, and tools they need to build a successful business in Canada. Startup Global is one of Startup Canada's flagship programs that supports entrepreneurs looking to export and expand their businesses internationally. From webinars, roundtables, and our annual pitch competition, this free program will help you build an international market entry strategy and plan. These industry roundtables will provide attendees with a deeper understanding of trends and best practices in their sector and will leave with actionable takeaways and resources that they can implement into their businesses. Okay, I would like to take a moment to thank our co-presenting partners, UPS and Export Development Canada, EDC, as well as our program partner, TD Bank, and our ecosystem partner forum for the international trade training, and our community partners, GS1, Communitech, and WeBC. Today's session is for science and technology businesses, and we are very excited to be diving into this discussion. We have added the schedule of today's session on screen here. And as you can see, we will start off with a round of speed introductions from each of our attendees. That's all of you who are here with us today. You can do this either on camera or in the chat. And then next, we'll hear some expert talks from our guest speakers, followed with about 50 minutes of Q&A with our speakers. The last part of today's session will be a network breakout room where everyone will get a chance to connect with 2 to 3 fellow attendees, and then speakers will also be placed in these rooms with you. We have about 35 minutes carved out for these, so we'll do 3 rounds of breakout rooms at 10 to 12 minutes each. All right, okay. Now we're going to get started with attendee introductions. So if your camera is on, I'll assume you're comfortable introducing yourself and I'll call on your name to start. Please feel free to also share your LinkedIn in the chat. So I'm just going to go with who I see on my screen first. Sir, I have your name is E78125. But I'd love if you could introduce yourself.
Sorry, my name is Dilip. So I'm logged in from my workplace. That's my employee ID. I couldn't put my name. So I have been working with ETB Financial for last 10 years, and I'm a business advisor right now. I do help for the clients to start up their new business, how to set it up, small account, loans, line of credits. That's what I do. And it's a ETB Financial, which is located only in Alberta. It's a government bank as well.
Perfect.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Next on my screen, I have Rahaf.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Rahaf, and from the University of Windsor. I just defended my PhD in material science and opening up a startup to replace plastic coatings in packaging. So I've developed a bio-based coatings and trying to commercialize that in Canada. So that's what I do.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Next I see is Mustafa. I'm not sure if you're there.
Hi. Sorry, I have to find the button. Yeah, Mustafa, I'm from Ottawa. My interest is system knowledge, and I'm working what we can call uh, it's just put it simply, it's uh, what we call I try to not use technical word. It just because there is can call fake knowledge, and the real knowledge just to get it from the roots. And yeah, I'm building a knowledge system, and I have to validate all this knowledge, interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary, thing like that. It's integration of different knowledge, and yeah, it's my work at this time.
Great. Thank you so much. Just a reminder to our attendees, if you'd like to introduce yourself out loud, please turn on your camera and I'll call on you. Otherwise, you can put your information in the chat. Next, I see on my screen to introduce themselves is Henry.
Morning, everyone. Name is Henry Florial. I'm a CEO of Calmetis Incorporated. So we're a Winnipeg-based startup, and we do medical imaging systems. I've been in the medical device industry for 25 years now, having worked at large companies, Medtronic, Samsung, and Philips, where I lead commercial teams, launch new solutions. So I'm now working as a CEO and also support several startups across the country as an advisor, CEO mentor, and a director. So thanks very much. And then very nice meeting everyone.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And then Raj, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, yes, hey, good afternoon. I'm from Markham, Toronto, GTA area, and I work for a company called MPC Data Guard. We're helping small startup companies with a complete endpoint encrypted device solution. So I'll put my LinkedIn information if anyone has questions. Look forward to helping everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, that is everyone I see on my screen. Any attendees, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Oh, I see Ivan has popped up. Ivan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. Yeah, thank you. I am a CEO of Check My Budget. Check My Budget is a financial management app. We designed this app to help Canadian households to save up to 10% on their grocery budget each month through personalized recommendations, analyzing receipts from photos or emails. And our app suggests people to where to buy similar items much cheaper, offering immediate link for purchase. So our goal is to make saving more simple and effortless, ensuring financial literacy and empowering financial literacy and sustainability for our users. So we are based in North York, in Ontario.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. So thank you everyone for introducing yourselves. And of course, feel free to keep introducing and sharing your LinkedIn links in the chat. We also encourage you to ask questions following our expert talks. You can do this by typing your question into the chat or using the raise hand function, and we'll call on you to turn your microphone on and ask your question out loud. Without further ado, I am honored to introduce our speakers today. Joining us is Kristin Spong, Manager of Employer Sales at Riipen. We have Sol Lee, Head of Product at CreatorCore. And we have Devika, co-founder of Fuselage Innovations, Inc. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We're going to get started with our expert talks. I'll invite Kristin, if you could kick things off and tell us a little bit about your story and Riipen.
Sure. Thank you so much, Amanda. So my journey into the science and technology space might look a little different than the others today. I haven't launched my own company, but I've spent more than a decade supporting entrepreneurs in the sector. So my background sits kind of in the intersection of academia and industry. I started out in research and development within higher ed. I completed my doctorate in neurophysiology. And that experience gave me a real deep appreciation for the incredible talent and innovation that emerges from these early career researchers, and how powerful that expertise can become when it's applied to real world business challenges beyond academia. So For the past 10 years, I've really just focused on helping businesses tap into that talent by connecting them with students, researchers, and funding resources to help solve business problems and drive growth. And in my current role at Riipen, sorry, I lead the employer partnerships team. And so that my team works very closely with all the companies in our network to really understand what your needs are and help them engage with our programs. And so to give you a little bit of a background about what Riipen does, if you haven't heard of us, we're basically a platform that helps connect employers with learners through a variety of subsidized programs. And one program in particular that I wanted to highlight today is called Riipen Future Path. And this program is funded in part by the Canadian government. It allows companies to easily post business challenges on our platform. And we have students that have been pre-vetted and part of this program apply directly to those challenges. You would get in some resumes, some applications. You can pick a student that you feel has the right skill set to work on your challenge, and we'll pay for 50% of their stipend when they work on your project. So basically a wage subsidy program. A lot of businesses are using it as extra capacity. So we work with a lot of solo entrepreneurs, smaller organizations that just don't have the time to do certain work. A lot of social media, help with digital marketing, maybe CRM cleanups, market research, a lot of projects like that. And then there's also a group of employers that are ready maybe to expand their workforce. And this is a way that they can kind of test drive talent before committing to a full-time hire. So we have a lot of companies using it in that capacity as well. And so, yeah, it's an excellent program. Just want to get the word out there, but also just love to be here and connect with you all and learn a lot about what you're working on. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you so much, Kristin. Okay, now I'm going to pass it over to Sol. If you could share your story.
Of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Sol. I'm the head of product at CreatorCore, where I work on everything product related from strategy, design, product dev, all the way to product marketing. We are a software company. We build operating platforms for various companies that are leveraging social media and influencer marketing. And we work with some really cool clients you may have heard of, like movie studios like Paramount Pictures and Lionsgate, record labels like Interscope and Warner Music, and marketing and talent agencies all around the world. My personal background is in computer science and business, and started my tech career at a very early stage startup based out of Toronto as a product manager and front-end engineer, building AI-powered customer service solution. And that company actually sunsetted before really finding product market fit. But it was an amazing learning experience for me to really get my foot in the door for the startup world and how I really fell in love with startup culture. Then I founded my own startup a few years later in Vancouver called Wonder AI, building management platform and productivity tools for social media creators and talent agencies. And I actually got started as a solo founder, and shout out to any solo founders joining today. It's really, really tough. And pretty early on, I got the chance to work with Ripple Ventures, which is a VC based out of Toronto, through their exclusive fellowship and accelerator program, where they help incubate 10 companies per cohort, and they decide whether to invest in the companies or not towards the end of the program. So I was actively building, onboarding users, searching for a technical co-founder, a CTO at the same time. Halfway through that program, I actually came in contact with CreatorCore, my current company, and was offered to join as their founding product manager. So decided to put Wonder on hold and help build out CreatorCore. Like I mentioned before, we work with some major clients globally, supporting them with their marketing operations. Really building out a 360 solution, everything from AI-powered creator search and discovery, campaign management, analytics and reporting, and as of this year, payment processing, which has been a major launch for us in 2025, and now processing $1.5 million on average every single month in creator payouts through our platform. So all in all, it's been a really fulfilling journey for me. Really fuels my passion for startups. So excited to be here today and looking forward to our discussion.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing, Sol. And then I will pass it over to our last speaker, Devika, if you could share your experience.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Devika Chandrasekharan. I'm the co-founder of Fuselage Innovations. We we have a company in India that we started in 2020 after flood affected our farmlands. So we started the company to solve the problems that faced by the farmers due to the climate changes. So we introduced our two drones. That one is equipped with a multispectrum and another is a spraying drone. And this multispectral drone analyze the fields and send data to another drone. And this drone will go and spray to the particular affected areas. So at the time, that is 5 years back, farmers are not familiar with drone technology. So we get into the ecosystem, we connected to the farmers, and we used our technology in their fields as a free demonstration and pilot projects. And then we could find that they are getting a good revenue through the project. Like we help them to reduce their agriculture input in the 70%, and we help them to increase their yield up to 30%. So we took the certification for the product, and we worked with government for making a policy and standard operating procedures for this drone, and we took the certification, regulations, everything. Now we have more than 10,000 farmers as a client all over the world, and we sold our drones all over the world, like in other continents also. So we have a good R&D team. We are generating a good revenue as a bootstrap company in India. And as a part of global expansion, we got opportunity from Canada. So we incorporated our company in 2023 in Canada, and we started our physical operations few months back here. Now we are closely working with farmers here. We will start our project from next summer through our drone technology here itself. Also, we are closely working with defense also. We are providing customized drone solutions for defense sectors also. So this is about me right now. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, we are about to open up for our panel discussion. For those of you who feel comfortable, we do invite you to turn your cameras on for this portion. We have some prompt questions to start. However, we encourage all participants to ask questions either by raising your hand or through the chat function. And now I will pass it over to Isabel Nolan, our Director of Programs with Startup Canada, to moderate this conversation. Off to you, Isabel.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Amanda. Hi, everyone. Isabel Nolan, Director of Programs at Startup Canada. I'm very excited to be here to moderate our discussion today. As Amanda said, we very much welcome everyone to ask their questions. I'm sure you've come here today having things that maybe you've got some struggles or challenges you're going through and you're looking for some answers. So please don't be shy. You can use the raise hand function or ask it in the Q&A box, and I can ask it on your behalf. But so wonderful to have our three speakers here today, and I think we'll go ahead and dive into all the questions. So from Devika and Saul, I'd love to hear from each of you what inspired you to begin your journey into the science and technology space, and how has that shaped the way that you approach innovation today? Saul, maybe I can pass to you first.
Sure. I kind of accidentally fell into product and startup world. I initially went to business school and felt like it wasn't a good fit, switched over to computer science at UBC, and kind of was able to merge my computer science and business background and got started in product. And I came in contact with the company that I mentioned before, based out of Toronto, was my first kind of like step into the startup world, and fell in love with the startup culture and building dynamic products, and just ran with it.
Amazing. Yeah. It's so funny, like with so many entrepreneurs that I get to talk with, the amount of people that are like, I kind of just found myself in this sector, or I fell into it. So it's always wonderful to see how people kind of came into things in a non-linear way. Devika, how about yourself? What was that inspiring thing that kind of got you hooked into this?
Okay. Actually, I worked after my graduation in electrical engineering. So I worked with few companies. And after all these working days, I felt like I put my energy to some other company. So why don't I start something my own? So at that time, my brother is also coming out of engineering college. So we started together. I say he is even though we are having a technical background, but he is having good R&D skills, and I am having good management skills. So we combine our skills and we started a company together. So when after starting the company startup thing, and we face a lot of challenges, right? We don't have the fund initially and everything. So gradually we got a high from all these meetings, meeting procurement, everything, hiring employees. So gradually we expanded to other countries and we got opportunities. At that, now I look back 5 years back, I don't have any knowledge about the startup ecosystem and everything. So yeah, that's about me.
Yeah. And I think with science and technology businesses going into going into different markets, it doesn't have the same barriers necessarily that like a product-based business would have. That comes with all the various different types of tariffs and shipping and all those logistical pieces. So in a way, there's less barriers. But a question to all of you, is there any sort of non-obvious barriers that maybe was surprising to you to learn into going into new markets? Krista, maybe do you have anything to say to that?
Sorry, I was on mute. So barriers to going into new markets. I so again, from my experience, what I've seen mostly is knowing, when to expand into new markets, like making sure that the reasons that you want to expand into new markets is for the right reasons. So, that there's actually a pull to go into those new markets versus just an ambition of a founder. And so I think yeah, I think does that answer your question a little bit? Like that from our point of view, that's what I normally see is making the right decision to grow and doing the right steps before you decide to launch into a new market.
Yeah, absolutely. And Devika, did you face any challenges that you didn't foresee when you're going into a new market when you're branching outside of India that maybe you didn't
Yeah.
expect?
Yes, actually, especially a hardware product that was some hectic journey for us because we build out drones as per the crop and weather condition in India, and here the crop condition and agriculture land everything is different, and farmers are not much aware about this new technology. So we kind of start from the scratch. So we connected to the farmers. We have done a lot of groundwork with the farmers, research organizations, universities, and everything. So we found their real problems, and from that problem we build a product, and we work on that product. We do some demonstrations, pilot projects with the farmers. Then we start making some corrections in the product and making a new MVP as per their requirement. So that was the problem, like when we have a hardware product with us.
Absolutely, and getting that to the new markets as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mustafa, I see you have your hand up, but I just want to check in with Saul to see if Saul, if you had anything to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think going back to what you mentioned about, technology businesses as opposed to a physical product-based business, I think we have a huge advantage. So personally, I haven't faced too much barriers, especially because we're a software company on a subscription basis. We have clients globally. I think the only barrier was maybe a language barrier. So sometimes our Spanish clients or, Southeast Asian clients ask for a different, language version of the product that we don't have. But, our product is entirely in English, which is a huge advantage in expanding to global markets, I feel.
Brilliant, thank you. Mustafa, sorry, yeah, you can go ahead with your question.
Yes, a small question, because when I hear different entrepreneurs, they started small after they scale up their startup around the world. It just my question is about protection. How they protect their originality, their algorithm, their thing, how, because yeah, and we know that when we are on internet, there is a lot of tool that we use, and we can't protect all. We can't just work on sandbox or thing like that. We are like open. We use this tool, have the root of our thinking, the startup. Just my question about how you protect what you are developing, and yeah,
Yeah.
and
No, that's a great question. So protecting your intellectual property and
yeah.
ensuring that that is protected and it's not taken away from you. It's a fantastic question. Any of our speakers like to tackle that?
I can probably take this on. I think we deal with this problem almost daily just because our sales team is constantly taking demos, and it's really important for us to keep our product details safe from competitors, protect our IP. So firstly, of course, our entire product is only accessible to our active clients who get their credentials through our sales team after an onboarding process. There's no way for anyone to just sign up and log in. Secondly, we only take demos from people who book with company emails just so we can verify they're not from an org that's trying to build something similar. And I can tell you it happens a lot more often than you think. And lastly, for marketing, we work with our design team to kind of create kind of abstract visual assets just so we keep our any minute product logic or details safe from competitors and whoever else.
Thank you.
Excellent. And they're great tactics as well that don't necessarily require a lot of like spend. Like they're things you can implement straight away as well. Because of course sometimes when you're looking into patents and like really getting into the nitty-gritty legal side of protecting your IP, it can get quite costly when you're first starting out. So they're great budget friendly tactics to protect yourself.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure. I feel for software products, it's really hard to gain patents and things like that. So it's definitely a way to protect it.
Thank you. Kristin or Devika, anything to add to that?
The only thing I might add is that there's so many people to help you kind of navigate that landscape. And so make sure you're connected with some folks that can help create your IP pathway if you're starting out, depending on how far you are in your entrepreneurial journey.
Brilliant. Great question, Mustafa. Thank you so much for
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah. All right. And again, if anyone else has questions, please feel free to use the raise hand function to ask your question to our speakers. Devika, I wanted to ask you more about your business and Fuselage Innovations. You're working at that intersection of science, engineering, sort of like agricultural science, and business. How did you bridge the gap between the technical innovation and the market validation in your early days?
Yeah, actually, we bridge the gap between the market and the technology. That's the first thing. So we do have a strong R&D team. So uh, we help to help them to identify the real problem, that what is happening in the ground. So that is with farmers. For example, in terms of agriculture, that is with farmers. So we help them to identify what they are facing, and we connected it to the technical and R&D team. And if it is in a new market, we need help from the agriculture universities or any research organizations to validate the data and validate the product, because It's a hardware product and it is directly going to the fields with the farmers. So that validation is very important. And we do pilot projects, a lot of pilot projects with the farmers. So that pilot project helped them to validate the product. So this research and the real world problem, the connection between both these two components are very important. So we took a lot of customer engagements uh, and the connection to the R&D team. That was very important in this validation period. So this is how we bridge this gap.
A lot of like database decisions, it sounds like.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm curious how you found your customers outside of India. Were there certain partnerships that you got? Yeah, how did you go about that?
Yeah, that's majorly through LinkedIn actually.
Okay.
We have a company profile, and our founders also having profiles. Me and my brother is also having profiles, and my brother, like, he's put daily posts in the early days. So gradually we got attention and we got participate in different international and national events, even pitch competition, everything. So we went to all programs and we started networking with people. Then we got opportunities from different countries. So that's why we are planning. Now we are exporting drones to other continents, including Africa, Australia, and everything. So all these contacts are coming as to organically, majorly from LinkedIn and social media. And recently we got featured in Forbes. So that was a global reach. So, yeah.
Amazing. The power of LinkedIn.
Yes.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you so much. And Kristin, wanted to ask, for Canadian businesses in the science and technology space, how can they effectively use learning platforms or other talent acquisition strategies like the projects that Riipen brings out to maybe test a new market or build that like foundational local expertise before committing to permanent hires?
Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you, Isabel. Um, so we have a lot of companies that are using the platform for that very reason to the projects are unlimited. So these students come with really fresh ideas, great insights. They're getting a really great education, but they're kind of lacking that like real world expertise that they need. It's very critical, especially in a tech-driven economy, because technology is changing so fast that it's not that education can't actually adapt at the speed that industry is. And so we find that it's twofold, that it's really businesses are tapping into talent to get them to bring fresh insights, new ideas, but that they're also giving them that critical exposure that they need to be more employable when they're done. And it also gives them the opportunity to help build the future workforce. So a lot of companies we work with are not ready to hire. They're small. They're not really ready to increase their headcount. And so they're using the platform in a capacity that, they might not have enough bandwidth internally to do a project. And so a lot of these could be testing new ideas before fully committing to running those ideas. That is something that that a group of students or a team of students could do to make sure that it's worth investing in as a company. And so we do see that a lot. We also see, doing the type of work that they just don't have capacity for. So market research, deep dives into running focus groups with customers to understand their needs better that can help influence maybe a product enhancement. Digital marketing. These students are online all the time. They know all the channels. They know how to use them. I know I work with a lot of even smaller organizations that are like, I don't know what TikTok is. I know I should be on there, but I don't know how to use it. Well, guess what? A student that's in a marketing degree would be really good to help you use that to start that channel off. And so it's really unlimited is what I would say in the way that you can utilize the program. And it's really nice because it's invested by the government, that, you can bring on these students, only cost you 50%. It would cost a lot more to hire a consultant or someone else to do that project. And you're also potentially testing driving talent if you're looking to hire in the future. So I think it's really a win-win situation. And that's what we hear a lot. We hear sometimes the employers say that the most inspiring part is helping mentor students. Other people just want some work done, which is fair as well. But it's a great platform to use.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, and yeah, like you said, it's a great like win-win for the companies and the students as well. It is wild that education can't keep up with the speed in which innovation is happening in the real world.
We're
So
actually seeing it too, like even like mid-career individuals, because tech is evolving so fast, like upskilling and relearning, even for employers, is good, like it becoming even more important. And so we do also have a lot of programs where we're actually upskilling people who are in a current career, but they know that they need to learn the latest trend in cybersecurity, or whatnot. So being able to get put onto a company, a real world project to learn those skills versus what they're learning, whether at their current work or in their education, is really, really important.
absolutely. Um, and so from a market leader's perspective, what are some like unique, or rather, what is unique about building and scaling tech products in the Canadian ecosystem versus the global markets that you've seen?
Yeah, I think it's pretty hard for me to say what's unique to building in Canada, given that we're a software company with an entirely remote team with clients globally. Everything seems pretty borderless for us on the day-to-day, given the industry that we're in as well. But I think that's actually a good thing because building in Canada, you have such easy access to the American market and business opportunities in the UK, Australia, everywhere. So that's something to definitely leverage as businesses based in Canada, if you're a software company, especially.
And and this I sorry, both for Devika and for Saul, for ventures in these sectors, um, do you have any advice on framing your story for investors, or maybe for bank loans? I don't know Devika, you mentioned that you're a bootstrapped company, so I'm curious what your funding journey has been like, up to date, and any investment or loans or grants that you've gone through.
Yeah, actually, when we go to the investors, in India, we are still a bootstrap company, and we are generating a good revenue there. From the second year, we are cash positive. Here, we just started the operations right now, and I feel like we do have a real validated problem, and we have a strong product with a strong technical team knowledge, and we need a scalable business opportunity. So that is very important for when we go to the investor.
Mhm. And did you have any challenges in protecting your IP when you're collaborating with these types of partners or potential funding?
No, actually, when we went to the grant or any other programs, the IP remains with us always. So we don't face any that kind of
Mhm.
problems. Yeah.
And so I don't know if you have anything to add to your own entrepreneurial journey with different funding avenues and any programs you were a part of or that.
Sorry, was a question advice for, speaking to investors, like pitching to investors, things like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like framing your story when you're pitching to investors or applying for another type of
Yeah.
funding.
I think what really resonated with investors, what ultimately got me the opportunity to work with Ripple Ventures and later CreatorCore was founder market fit. I'm sure you've all heard of product market fit, but I feel like a lot of investors, especially institutional VCs, want to see founder market fit now more than ever. And there are a lot of smart people with good ideas that want to build in the same space as you or solve a similar problem. So then how do you communicate that you are the best person to solve that particular problem? This could be your past, unique experiences or a specific field of expertise, like you have a really niche knowledge that Not a lot of people have. For me, that field of expertise was social media and influencer marketing, because I had that firsthand experience on social media and really had an in-depth understanding of the industry inside and out. In addition to my technical and product building background, I think that played a huge role in answering the why you question that a lot of investors ask, either explicitly or implicitly. And on top of that, I think really knowing how to convey a cohesive story behind how you discovered or encountered the problem that you're trying to solve and what's motivating you to solve it, I think really helps build that emotional connection to whoever you're pitching to, investors, um, or even clients.
Because they're really investing in you more so than your business, because yeah, your business can change and evolve, and especially within this sector as well. To Kristen's point, like there's innovation constantly happening all of the time. Yeah, the why you, why now question that you're answering for them is more important than like the nitty-gritty of what your business really is. And Sol, just like, I guess a sort of a follow-up question. Are there any specific digital tools, localization strategies, or cultural adaptations that are necessary for a product users interface, or maybe marketing content that can help resonate with the target customers in a new market?
I'm not entirely sure, because, like I said, I feel like one of the biggest advantages to building in Canada and the US was the language, and English is an international language. And once you build your product in English, that means it can be instantly used by users and clients globally before having to make different versions of your product or language support. So that doesn't limit you to just your local market. Um, yeah, like I mentioned, at CreatorCore, we have international clients in Spain and Southeast Asia, Australia, that even for people who aren't, who their first language or main language isn't English, are able to use our product without us having to translate our entire product to go global. So that's definitely a key leverage, key advantage that we're leveraging. And another thing is the cultural and geographical proximity to the United States, which is the biggest economy in the world, which is a big, big advantage for Canadian entrepreneurs. Especially if you're in a software space, you pretty much have borderless access to clients in America, which is a huge business opportunity, to be able to tap into the US market with such ease.
Mhm. Thank you for that. I know that was kind of an off-the-cuff question, so I appreciate you tackling that for me. We do have Vicky is in the chat asking. I think it sounds like a question, so I'll put it out to our speakers. During initial startup days, revenue could be dry as one is establishing ground. During this interim, how do you keep yourself motivated and build your funds gradually, knowing that the journey is long? Great question, Vicky. Speakers, anyone like to take that on? Keeping motivated, yeah, Kristin.
Sure.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, it looked like you were ready.
And I saw Devika come off mute too. So Devika, did you want to go first?
No, no, you can start. Yeah, no.
Okay. I was just gonna say, I haven't been in your shoes specifically, but I've met a lot of people who have been. And I think leveraging all the resources that are out there. I know we're chatting about that already, but there's a lot of different funding available, some that have lower barriers than others. And it might seem little, even with, Riipen's one example where we're providing a 50% wage subsidy. We also have programs that are actually fully free for employers to work on, that could help enhance certain challenges that you're having. And so, like, just knowing that, like, knowing the ecosystem of funding is so important, because I think sometimes it's just challenging. It can actually be a lot just to navigate all of what's available to you on your own. And so I know, finding that innovation hub that you're close to in, whether, Startup Canada, there's Invest Ottawa in Ottawa, like there's these hubs all around. I always suggest entrepreneurs to be well embedded, because there's so many different resources for you. And I often found too that if you start small, so like, with like a grant that's fairly low barrier, maybe not even a competitive grant, but some sort of grant that's showing that you've done something that was peer reviewed or that was funded by the government, it gives you a little bit of credibility too when you're looking to go and apply for other pots of funding that are a little bit more competitive to access to. So I don't know if that's not exactly answering the question, but I do think that making sure you're leveraging everything that's out there is super important. And it can be challenging to navigate on your own, so don't do it alone. Ask for some help.
Thanks, Kristin. Devika.
Yeah, actually, we face a lot of the same problems in our early days. So we explore all the opportunities, including grants, and we got a lot of rejections. After first 25 rejections, we got one grant. So we participated in every pitch competitions. We went to every networking programs, exhibitions, everything. So we make a lot of connections through them. And we applied grants through the universities, research collaborations. And here we can see that a lot of federal and provincial grant opportunities are there. And there is a particular window in Canada, like business benefit program. There we can search what kind of grants and programs are there for this particular sector. We can searches that from Google. So all these programs help us to build this initial runaway. And another thing, we divert our product into another sector, like we are providing service. We don't directly sell to the farmers initially. We are providing subscription model, service model to farmers, so we can collect some revenues from them. So that also help us to make a good revenue in initial days. So.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned pitch competitions, and they're a great way to get that truly is free money. With
Yeah.
no strings attached. We do several different pitch competitions at Startup Canada as well, and it's really to just give a bit of a cash injection to some entrepreneurs to help them just get on their feet or take the next step in their journey. Are there any pitch competitions that you've participated in Canada?
Yeah, I have the Startup Canada pitch competition. Mississauga was my first pitch competition in Canada, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Well,
Yes. Yeah, and I have been the winner of some pitch competition that happened in Finland. That the polar bear pitch competition that I selected from India for participating in Finland, and we have been selected for Hitachi Global pitch competitions. Yes. Yeah.
great. Yeah, and they are fantastic for anyone that hasn't participated in a pitch competition. It's a great way, obviously, yes, to possibly get some cash for your business. But it's also great to like test out that storytelling piece that Saul was talking about. And gaining some feedback as well from the folks that you're pitching to, whoever the judges are. I see, Rahaf, you've asked for examples of non-competitive grants. In Canada, like pretty much any government grant is competitive. I do know that there are some programs you can go through. BEBC Society, for example, they have an accelerator program that you can go through, and once you complete it, they provide a small grant for you to use for your business. Kristin, I don't know, do you know any of non-competitive? Please.
Yeah, well, so it depends on what you classify as grants. So I would say, like, for instance, funding from the government, if it's like through Riipen, it's not competitive. So if you applied to access the wage subsidy, you just need to have an eligible project. So it's not competitive. I also know of my tax funding. So that's university college collaborations. That's not competitive. The projects are peer reviewed by experts in the field. So it has to be research and development, but it's not adjudicated based on novelty. So it's not necessarily a competition. It's more about is it research and development? So that's another key organization that's actually provincially and federally funded.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'll put the link for my tax in case anyone is interested.
Yeah. And a lot of hackathon is also happening. So early stage startup can be part of hackathon. So that will also help them to find new market fit for the product.
Mm. Thank you. Okay, great. We're getting a few questions in the chat here. So speakers, I might just read them out and feel free to unmute yourselves if you want to talk about it. So P. Rao is asking what your views are on solo founders versus having a co-founder. Is one more preferable for investors or customers than the other? And the sort of follow-up to that is, how do you reach out to potential customers for customer interviews? Any preferable method like email, LinkedIn, cold calling? Great question. They're sort of separate. So maybe the first one in terms of solo founders versus co-founder. Any of our speakers like to take that on?
I can speak on this briefly, but I think it would be most relevant to software tech companies. Not too sure about, other, verticals, but specifically in software space, if you're trying to go for VC funding, it is highly preferable if you have a co-founder, either two co-founders or three co-founders. This is a feedback that I got over and over again as a solo founder when I was trying to raise, just because the investors are more trusting in your stability and your team to work together and not, burn through VC money by paying a lot of employees to get work done. So that's kind of one thing. I think for customers, I think it doesn't matter as much. It's mostly for fundraising and for speaking to investors.
And sharing out that the different knowledge that folks have. Like Devika, you said that your strengths lie in management, and then your brother his strengths lie in R&D. So how has that worked for you? Having that partnership, and maybe what benefits do you think it's brought to you?
Yeah, everybody is not having all the skills, so we can divert the skill because, for example, in my company, me having the management skills and he is having the R&D skills, but he is some kind of negative shades in managing people. At that time, I can take over that. So we do have particular job description for everything, so we can manage our own things in our own way.
Yeah.
So that I think that is very important. But we discuss everything and we can take decisions independently for each of our own core strength. So we can build on our own core strength. And when we talk to the people and when we went to the investors, that is also a positive thing for us.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. Thank you. Kristin, do you have anything to add to that?
Not really. I think like what have seen is that if you are a solo founder, investors will expect you to proactively show, how you'll be able to cover all the areas that a co-founder or co-founders might bring otherwise, whether that's through a strong team or advisors or previous experience.
And then the second question to that, in terms of reaching out to potential customers for customer interviews, so I suppose for testimonials, Kristin, Devika, Saul, any of you have any experience in doing this?
Like, sorry, so the question was like, how do you reach potential customers?
It's worded, how do you reach out to potential customers for customer interviews? But I think it's more so reaching out to customers, how I'm reading it anyway, reaching out to customers to get feedback and testimonials from them.
Yeah, I guess I could kick us off. So if they're existing customers,
Yeah.
obviously that's a little bit different. But yeah, I think what we use actually is a lot of emailing, but also touch points, calling, emailing, whatever form of communication that resonates better with that account or that customer. and then setting up, roundtables, info sessions, focus groups. The nice thing nowadays, we can do this virtually like we're doing now, so it makes things a little bit easier. But if you are wanting to do something in person, that just adds a different touch to it. So also something to consider. But yeah, I think the traditional methods work pretty well there. Email, phoning.
Yeah, especially if you like cold calling is one thing if it's something that isn't a customer, that is a little bit different. But if there's already the beginnings of a relationship there, it's always best to reach out, however you've already been communicating with them. Vicky has asked in terms of marketing and reaching out to new customers, is key. Sorry, I'll read this again. Marketing and reaching out to new customers is key, either via LinkedIn or other social media platforms. In a new world driven by social media like Instagram, TikTok, Google Ads, how far is having your own website? I guess how beneficial is it to have your own website? Would customers build trust only if you have a website or social media presence is enough to start off? So I think they're asking what is the biggest what's the importance of having a website? Is having social media enough, or is it good to have that sort of centralized hub where you can send your customers to?
I think that a website is important for credibility. I think the second someone finds you on social media, they're going to search for your website. That's what we've seen anyways. We have a lot of clients that come to us specifically say, hey, I need a new website, or mine's broken. Can you fix it? I don't. And so we help connect them with talent to do that. But I do still think that a website is very useful to help with credibility.
Yeah. So, Devika, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I also felt the same because we got a lot of inquiries through this website, LinkedIn, and the social media platforms. So I feel like that is very important in our journey. So I think that is very important for every entrepreneurs to have a website, social media platform, LinkedIn, and everything. Yeah.
It's interesting because we actually had a pretty much the same question at a previous roundtable for we were doing retail and consumer packaged goods, and the same question was posed. And social media is a great way for like engaging with potential or already existing customers, but your website will house everything. Like you can house all of your information. If you're selling something, you can do your sales through that. And it's, as I said, just builds that credibility. Because I'm not sure I would want to be interacting with someone if they only had an Instagram, let's say. Yeah, it's great to have that central hub for everything. Great questions from our attendees. Thank you all so much for putting these in. Let me see. I think I still had a few questions from my list of questions. So working in the like product development area, you're bridging the business and technology. Any advice on how you cultivate collaboration between engineers, designers, and business teams?
Yeah, I think product roles are extremely analogous to being a founder in that you're working cross-functionally and across engineering, design, sales, customer success, marketing, all of them all the time. And the skills you need to be a good product leader, you need to be a good founder, and vice versa. And I think that key skill is the ability to speak each of these disciplines' languages, to foster collaboration and also gain trust as a leader. For example, people say you don't need to be technical to be a tech founder or product leader. And that's true in the sense that you don't need to, be a full-on engineer or know how to write code, but you do absolutely need to have enough technical knowledge to be able to understand, your own product, how it's built, understand technical limitations, engage in conversations with engineers. And similarly on the design and sales and business side, how decisions impact user experience or how the business model works, and really being able to engage meaningfully in all of these conversations with different stakeholders. is how I think you get your team to align and make collaboration kind of seamless.
Yeah, definitely having that knowledge of just how everything works and interlinks into one another is super, super important. Um, and Kristin, um, I'm curious, are there any big gaps that you're seeing, or big skills gaps rather, that you're seeing emerge in this space, and how is Riipen helping to close them?
Yeah, I think where we're seeing the biggest skills gaps, and I might be biased just because of the work that I'm doing, but is that we're seeing, we talked a little bit about it already, the pace in which industry evolves compared to how quickly education can adapt. So the skills in digital literacy, data analysis, AI, machine learning, cybersecurity, and even some core human skills like problem solving and collaboration are essential now across basically every sector. And so these aren't always fully embedded in traditional university or college degrees. And we see that a lot. And there's data on that students, they feel very, they're getting their technical experience in school, but not necessarily ready to enter the job force when they're done. So that's a big gap. And I think that's kind of the spirit of where programs like Riipen and platforms like Riipen come in, and where we can make a meaningful impact. And it's not just for students that are, in school for their first time, right from high school. These are challenges that, like I had mentioned earlier, mid-career workers and employers themselves need continuous upskilling to stay competitive. And whether that's adopting new AI tools, modernizing workflows, or navigating some digital transformation, the need for ongoing learning is definitely becoming universal. And so platforms like Riipen, by connecting learners at any stage of their journey with companies, employers through real world, project-based experiences, we can help apply skills to authentic contexts to kind of get that exposure to the tools and technologies that you'll actually need to use on jobs. And for employers and companies, this is also a really low risk, high value way to engage emerging talent while solving real business problems. And even, like I mentioned, developing their own future workforce.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much. Mustafa, you have another question?
Yes, just I'm trying to correct it. Yeah, you talked about gaps. Just I want to share something. I write in the chat, is it time for Canada to have an integrative collective intelligence ecosystem around startup, stakeholder, corporation, business, under the vision of Mr. Carney, because he talked about dynamic advantage of competition. It's not static. To gain and sustain competitive advantage in rapidly changing environment for our startup businesses and for Canada in general. And you talk about gap. Just we had an experience here. I'm self-entrepreneur. Where we engineer, design, and implement and evaluate like tools, technological solution, and just a little experience. It were my first, which there is different phases, but the last phases we develop a prototype. And it's very interesting. We start working with our small computer, and when we need to run the prototype, my 2 terabyte it's not sufficient, for example. And I need, for my experience with that, I need to increment to like 30, 18, like 36 terabyte. And when I arrived to buy this terabyte, the one that I like aligned with what I'm doing, because there is a lot of validation, integration, and it's interdisciplinary thing, a lot of data that we work with it, and we have to buy it from our neighbor, from United States, and. There is some extra driver available in the United States, but we can't have them. We can't buy them from Canada now. We have to buy them from United States, and we can now have like. We can have 16 terabyte, but not 18 and 20. That is out of stock, and we are not the priority. Just what I'm thinking about. I like the vision that Mr. Carney. Yeah, he has his visions, but he did a PhD thesis on that, and it's when you learn his thesis, it's very profound and it's corroborated by knowledge. What I believe it's very helpful and 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 to help startup to help we have to think large than what we are thinking because we are moving now. We are doing a big disrupt in Canada. We are, it's not the politic that we used to do. Just our vision is to run to be prime minister, and after we start working, we do best thing just to be reelected. But now we have to go to the root of things. We have to do the transition. We have to do. It's not politically correct for a politician, and we have to think vertically and horizontally. And for now, if startup need drivers because they need tools to help their startup and to go far and to do nice thing to respond to the needs because there is needs, but it's big data. It's our computer 2 terabyte, 4 terabyte, 10 terabyte. It's not working. That's why my thinking it's we need like an ecosystem. We have knowledge in Canada. We have collective intelligence in Canada. That's why I'm thinking, is it time to link? There is a new work that it's a new way to work with the provinces. We do a lot of things. We don't think like barrier because the adversary from outside. We have to be we competition with outside, not between us. And we start something. And I'm thinking that we can go deep in that to see like all what we need for startup for businesses to be like in to go to have our place in around the world because we can do we have a good thinking good entrepreneur good thing but they need other thing to get result like a Ferrari you have to build the road for Ferrari to sorry, to race. But if you have just a road for and there is hordes in it, it can't race. Just it's a I share my thinking. It's from my heart and just yeah.
No, thank you so much for sharing, Mustafa. And it's a great thought starter, isn't it, for to have an ecosystem for businesses that are within this sector. And I feel like that's a great discussion to continue into the breakout rooms. There are wonderful like science and technology specific organizations that do run those sort of networking opportunities. I know Tech2 that's based uh, just outside of Toronto, I believe, or they do it in a few places. DMZ is another great organization to be connected with. They're helping move and convene that ecosystem a little bit better. We try to stay industry agnostic at Startup Canada in terms of like the ecosystem that we build. Obviously, we do things like this as well that are supporting specific industries. But it is a wonderful thought starter. And thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Just if I simplify my what I'm telling, it's now there is a good business and it's linked to what the vision of Mr. Carney because he's looking about big project, structural project, and
Yeah.
now we can start a project for hardware. or the hardware that we need for our businesses today, tomorrow, and in 10 years or 20 years. Like we are doing in data center around the world. We have invested billions of dollars to have this data center. Perhaps there is a thinking about the hardware because and we used to in Canada to use what we call a roadmap. A roadmap, it's like a map for 20, 30 years, and we can think with this kind of tools for ourselves.
Yeah, no, thank you so much,
Thank
for
you.
sharing that great thought starter. Okay, well, I've asked all the questions that I had for our speakers. I want to double check, is there anyone else that has a question for our speakers? Because if not, we can go straight into our breakout rooms. We're going to do 3 rounds of about 12 minutes each. Oh, okay. I have one person. And please excuse me. I'll do my best to pronounce your name. Chifi Iwa. You have a question?
Correct, ma'am. Thank you. And good evening to everyone, the rest of the team. And thank you so much for the opportunity. It's quite exciting. So I need advice. You saw I did share the links there on the chat. So the main website, the www.cvplus.co.za, it's what has been running from last year. Then recently I developed those 4 pages and other more fantastic pages. But I launched these 4 pages recently and I realized that this changes the whole scenario for CV Plus and for me. And I've been working alone, coding. And then from where I am right now, my AdSense revenue has been failing because it required me to post on a daily. But now I decided not to focus on AdSense because I realized that if I focus on developing the platform more, I can bring value to the community and to the global economy as a whole. And then the life assistant page, I developed it because I've got injuries, so that was to assist me. Then indirectly I realized that okay, this cannot just assist me. I must take this thing out there and so that it can assist everyone all in all. But I then realized that apart from how it is now, I've developed something better than that. So how do I then do I then have 2 versions of it, the one that I can monetize and the one that could be like support people with a smartwatch as well? Because I tend to think that such a page or such a life support page or life assistant page, it's supposed to be free to everyone, like your Gmail. You get what I'm saying? Those are not things that I can monetize. It's everyone's freedom to have such. But I do have a beta version. So the beta version, I'm still developing it, but it works. Then I realized that do I have to partner with a hospital or do I sell this? Because if I do partner with the hospital, then it'll be limited. I'm based in South Africa. I live in South Africa. So it then means that I can't sell this thing to other countries or make it global, as already the platform and the website is global. So in a nutshell, there's a lot of questions I have. I have to save your time and respect that. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. It's a big question. I'm not sure if any of our speakers are equipped to provide specific advice on that. And specifically, as you're based in South Africa, I'm not familiar with the regulations there. I'd be a lot more familiar with the regulations in Canada. Speakers, I'll just double check. Is there anyone that has any sort of advice that they can provide on this? No, I don't think so. So you may have to, my advice would be to reach out to an organization that works with so it kind of sounds like you're in like med tech space, like medical tech space, or like an accelerator that's within the region that you're in, and get their feedback and their thoughts on what would be best. Because I'm so sorry I don't have the resources for that. But also feel free to email us and see if we can see if there's anything else we can do for you. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm sorry we can't be of more like specific support for that question. But yeah, that's
Apart apart from that, if there's no assistant on that, that's not the only thing I need help on actually, because if we go back on the scroll up on the other pages I shared, I do have something that will be relevant of you that you can give advice on. You see on the link there, I have CV plus things. So on the things there, what we do, we build things and then we move things and cyber wall things. So that on its own, on a nutshell, it's not a geographical thing. If you get what I'm saying, then it's a global thing. Then where my idea is that you guys are based in Canada. Some companies in Canada that build things can enlist within that page. And then within Canada, you can build things in Canada and move things within Canada while still using the same page, right? So in there, we build things, we move things. So I need advice more on that. And then as we go to the other page, career partner and global improvement, right? No, let's leave that one. Let's go to global impact dashboard. So on the global impact dashboard there, what we have, I have clocks and all of that, but I realized that this page is quite relevant at a global scale, especially if
I'm sorry.
I will. I'm so sorry. I'll have to pause you there. We are going to go into our breakout room, so maybe you can discuss this with whomever you're with in the room. But just because this is so it is quite specific, that I'm not sure I can support you right here and now on this. So if it's okay, I'm going to pause you there and we'll go into our breakout rooms. Just a reminder for everyone, will be 3 to 4 people in each of these rooms. The speakers will also be put into the rooms, but they're not necessarily there for moderating the space. It's really there for you to connect with one another. Please ensure that everyone gets in and around equal time to talk and be able to ask questions or offer advice. And if you can, turn on your cameras as well so that everyone can feel a little bit more conversational and they get to meet everyone. All right, Amanda is going to open up those rooms for you.